who have done and who have written very nice books for children in Urdu and in English, both. So today I'm going to ask our three very nice authors to come and narrate stories to you, and then you can ask questions from them as well. First of all, I'm going to ask Mahnaz Malik, who's the author of Mo Star, and the Urdu version of Mo Star is Mo Ka Tara, to join us here on the stage. Mahnaz Malik. Thank you, Mahnaz. Next, we have with us Saman Shamsi. She has written a very nice story on the adventures of slothful sloth. So may I ask Saman Shamsi to join us on the stage? Thank you, Saman. And last, we are going to have Zara Mumtaz with us. She has written 4 books for children. 2 are the activities book, 2 are the books on phonics, and she'll be telling you a very nice story from her forthcoming book. So I'll ask Zara Mumtaz to join us on the stage as well. Well, now I won't keep you away from your storytellers for long. First, Mahnaz is going to sort of talk to you about her story, Mo Ka Tara, Mo Star, and then the rest will follow. So enjoy yourself and have a nice time.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. As Rahila introduced me, my name is Mahnaz Malik, and I've written 2 books. One is called Mo Star, and uska translation Urdu mein hai Mo Ka Tara. But frankly, ab mujhe to milne nahi aaye, to maine socha main the actual person you want to meet usko bula lun. Now, this isn't really Mo. This is just a kind of a replica of Mo. Do you know what replica means? It's a kind of a copy of Mo. Okay. So I put Mo here, so you can meet him, but he's very shy, unlike me. So he hasn't come from Antarctica. Do you know where Antarctica is? Where is Antarctica? Okay, you. Exactly, it's very, very cold in Antarctica. And where do you find, what is this? What is Mo? Somebody on the back, yes. Penguin. And what do penguins do? They live in Antarctica.
They swim and slide down mountains.
Exactly, and they fish, okay? तो जो penguin है, ये जो कहानी है, ये एक पेंगुइन के बारे में है जिसका नाम है मो. अब जो कहानी है पेंगुइन की, आप सोचोगे कि भाई इसमें इतनी बड़ी बात क्या है, मैं भी स्लाइड करता हूँ पार्क में और मैं भी मच्छी खाता हूँ, तो मैं पेंगुइन की कहानी क्यों सुनूं? हाँ, लेकिन मो की बहुत स्पेशल कहानी है. ओके, और ये कहानी शुरू होती है, it starts in Antarctica where it's very very cold. अभी तो सर्दी में हमारे यहाँ तो इतनी ठंडी नहीं होती ना, लेकिन जो ठंड Antarctica में होती है, it's really really cold. And Mo, like all of you, was a very small penguin. He wasn't a big penguin, he was a small penguin, and he was very lonely. He didn't have any friends. Sad, right? He didn't have any friends. So one day, as Mo was walking home, he saw a star. And he wanted to be friends with that star. But you know what the deal is? The star is up in the sky as Mo is on the ground. Now, very big question. Can you see these? What are these? Hands? Wings. Okay. So how does Mo get to the star? I'm going to get someone from the back now. Fly. But don't you know that penguins can't fly?
They can go on the tall mountain.
Yes, which is what Mo did try, but didn't quite work out. Penguins cannot fly, even though they have wings. Now, the challenge Mo had was, it had to meet the star. But everybody, all the big penguins told him that, don't you know, penguins can't fly. So what did Mo do? How did he get to the star? Did he go on a rocket? Did he jump off the mountain?
He can call the star down.
Good question, but the answer will be found in the book, I'm afraid. The story is about Mo getting to meet his friend. And I'm not going to tell you how, all of you can guess whether he used a rocket or whether he called up the star or whether he emailed the star. I don't know. It's up to you. But if you get the book, which is called Mo Star, in Urdu it's been translated beautifully by Fahmida Riaz, who's a fantastic poetess, because my Urdu, unfortunately, is not as great as hers. You can find out how Mo got to the star. So that's it from me and Mo for now. But do read the book, and I hope you like it, and I hope you find the answer to how Mo met the star. Thank you.
So wasn't that very interesting, kids? So who likes Mo here? Who's gonna go buy the book then? Great. All right, now I'm gonna invite Saman Shamsi to read from her really interesting book, The Adventures of the Slothful Sloth-Off. All right? Pardon my memory.
Okay. Slothful Sloth-Off is a little snake who, I want to tell you a little bit about the snake first, and then I'll read a little bit to you. He's a snake, and as you can see on the cover, he's a blue snake. But he didn't start off as a blue snake. He started off as a little yellow snake, a mud-colored snake, who was trapped in the basket of the snake charmer. And he escaped from the basket and went out into the forest, and he thought, I'm free now, and I can make lots of friends. And he thought, this is the key to happiness. So he went out into the forest, and guess what happened? How many of you know what a snake is? Have any of you seen a snake? You've seen a snake?
I have in my school.
You have one in your school.
And I have seen me and my friend,
Huh?
we catch snakes in our garden.
Wow, you catch snakes in your garden.
In our school.
Huh, in your school garden. Wow. So you're not afraid of snakes? No? Is anyone here afraid of snakes? No. Some of you must be afraid of snakes. You are afraid of snakes? Okay. Now, this snake didn't realize that people might be afraid of him. So he went out into the jungle, and he saw birds, he saw voles, he saw squirrels, and discovered that every time he tried to go near them, they would scream, snake, snake, and run away from him. So he was very hurt. He was very upset. He said, why is everyone so scared of me? You know, I'm trying to make friends. So he was heartbroken, and he cried and he cried. And he said, I must be ugly. There must be something wrong with me. And that's when he met a little fairy who said, okay, I can make you prettier. I can make you blue. So now he becomes a blue snake. But still, people are scared of him. If you saw a blue snake, would you be scared? Yes, even if he was blue. Well, okay, you're like the animals of the forest. The animals of the forest were still scared. So slowly he had to make friends. He had to build up his trust, and eventually he became best friends with a squirrel called Squire the squirrel. And now Squire has a wife, his missus, and he has 6 little children. And Slothful Sloth-Off becomes friends with the squirrels, and he lives in a tree. Now, if you saw a snake with squirrels, you would think what? That he's a friendly snake? What would you think?
He's just he's gonna ambush the
You think he's going to ambush the squirrels? Oh, no. So you would think that he's becoming friends with the squirrels for a while, and then he's going to eat them. Maybe. But he's a vegetarian snake. You know what a vegetarian snake is? What? He only eats vegetables. So now are the squirrels safe with him? Yeah. Okay, so he's a vegetarian snake, and his best friends are the squirrels. So now people of the forest get to know him and are not scared of him. Okay? So he's living in a tree with the squirrels, and now I'm going to read a bit of the story to you. Okay, I'll read for a few minutes. Okay. Go away, cried Squire the squirrel. Now what has happened is it's raining and there's a big storm, and this little white bird called a cockatoo comes flying to the squirrels to warn them. But the Squire the squirrel doesn't like this bird, so he says, go away, cried Squire the squirrel. He had no intention of cavorting and cohorting with the half-crazed cockatoo. It was dark and eerie, and lightning was crackling all around. The rumbling thundercloud stumbled closer to the tree. Rumbling and tumbling, tumbling and rumbling, the storm blew into town. The poor sodden cockatoo flapped his wings and screeched louder than before. But I've got news for you, he said, as he flapped his wings, till his soaking feathers could flap no more. A bolt of lightning struck a nearby tree. Squire gathered his family and led his family and children into a tunnel underground. Keeping the children in line was slothful Slough-off. Lightning struck near the gossipy bird. Squawk, squawked the cockatoo. Get inside, trees are dangerous in a storm, hissed Slothful, as he whacked the cockatoo with his tail and sent the bird flying down the tunnel. Slipping and sliding, sliding and gliding, down the hole into a warren of tunnels, the animals came thud, thud, thudding to a halt. Now what is it you have to say, said Squire to the cackler. Make it short and make it snappy. I can be short and I can be snappy, but it won't make you happy, started the bird. Oh, just forget it, said the squire. To pull your tree down, there's an elephant in town, continued the bird undeterred. He could rattle or prattle without a care in the world, for gossip was his thing. Of gossip he was king. Slothful froze in fear. The missus was fearful, the kiddies were tearful. But Squire was angry and downright annoyed. He stamped and he stomped and he told the bird off. He yelled and he hollered and he told the bird off. Your lies will be your downfall, you arrr, said the scurrilous squirrel. Now scurry on out of here before I feed you to Slough-off. Ew, gross, said Slothful as he stuck his tongue out. Right? Why did he stick his tongue out? Because he's a vegetarian snake, so he's not going to eat a bird, right? Mark my words, screeched the offended white bird as he flew out of the tunnel and disappeared into the storm. A little way off, in the deeper heart of the forest, an only lonely kind of elephant wandered through the trees. Which tree was he supposed to pull down? He couldn't remember, even though elephants have the best memory in the world. And so, in this forgetful, spaced out state, he wandered and he wondered, and he pondered what to plunder. Wandering and wondering, pondering but not plundering, the elephant came to a halt. He had had enough. The pelting rain had little effect on him. He swished his trunk and refused to care. He flapped his ears and refused to care. He shed a tear and he knew he cared. The rain combined with tears caused a rivulet to run down his face. He swished his trunk to wipe his tears. An insecure bundle of nerves, he was not your typical pachyderm. He had power and he had prowess, and all he could do was pull down the trees as he was told to do. To plunder for lumber was what he did best, though he knew this was not good for the forest's young guests. The trees are home to the birds and the rest, but what could he do? This is what he did best. He had no friends, and whoever he met, he tended to render completely homeless. So the elephant is a lonely elephant, but his work is he tears down trees, right? So nobody likes him because the trees is where all the animals and all live. So the squire and the squirrels are all very frightened of him and frightened at the thought of him, right? But later on in the story, we meet the squirrel again when the storm has finished. Meanwhile, back at the tunnel, the rain had abated and a new day was dawning. The snake and the squirrels came crawling out with bated breath, daring to hope that their tree was still standing. They had been walking in silence through a few damaged trees when off in the distance they spotted their tree. Gleaming and glistening after the night of rain, it was completely intact with a halo around it. The air was fresh and clear, and the halo was actually a rainbow. The squirrels laughed and clapped their paws in glee. They laughed and they clapped and they thumped their paws in glee. Slothful laughed and thumped too, but he had absolutely no way of clapping in glee. The sun was shining and rays of light cut through the trees. The light caught the remnant droplets of rain on the leaves. The raindrops glistened and gleamed like diamonds on the leaves. Slothful stuck out his tongue and caught a drop as it rolled off the tip of a leaf. He quenched his thirst and remembered a time not too long ago, a time when he was not blue, a time when airy fairy had flapped her wings and made lots of dew. She must have had a busy night to have made the dew so heavy. But if she made rain, who made the thunder and lightning? There was so much he had to learn. He believed that the rainbow was made by a circle of fairies who changed the sunlight as it passed through their wings. He strained his eyes but could not see them. Too small and too light to be seen in sunlight, they can only be seen when there's a full moon in sight. Squire had an idea. The storm had hurt many people and destroyed many homes. He wanted to help, but the kids would stand in his way. The pond must be full of fresh water. Maybe you could check it out with Slothful, he told them. With the sun beating down, the forest felt like a sauna. But elephants can't sweat, so they can't cool down in the heat. But splashing in water does the job. So off the lonely elephant wandered in search of a pond. So the squirrels are going to the pond, and the elephant is